I didn't know that there was transition.
Gears are spinning.
By the way. Guys, who here has read Amulet? Awesome. That's half to a third-ish. So, just a brief lore and story overview of what Amulet is. It's like a middle grade graphic novel book series that follows a girl who finds a magic amulet that's a little bit evil and ends up getting transported to this other world where she has to fight an evil elf empire. It's exactly, it's an isekai. It's not really.
Oh, it shows.
Yeah, it's an isekai. She gets isekai. There's the kind of setting of the world is very fantasy, but also a little bit steampunk. So there's just a lot to work with. It gets a little bit sci-fi by the end. Why Amulet? There's a lot of robot characters, so it's very on theme. There's a lot that we can work with, a lot of different designs. There is 9 books, and the plot goes in a lot of different directions and to a lot of different places. So we can really go any direction that we want with it. If we want to go in terms of visuals, we want to go more in the fantasy direction, we can go there. If we want to go more in this steampunk sci-fi direction, we can go there. Also for story, a lot of different things happen. So kind of any plot point that we want for the video or for a kiosk setup, we can find a way to make it work. And it is pretty recognizable. It is a staple of elementary school libraries, so a lot of people have read it. It's definitely more niche than like Phineas and Ferb, but it isn't super niche. So what would we do for the kiosk? I think we would use the Charon house, the walking house that you probably recognize from the books, as a center point, because it's pretty recognizable and I think a very cool image from the books. And we could put as few or as many extra elements aside from that as we have time for with the kiosk. So it would be, just because of how many different elements there are, very easy to add things if we want to be more complicated, or take away things if we're running out of time and need to make it simpler. We could also, there's a lot of different interesting character designs, so for mascots and for standees if we want to do that again. There's a lot to work with there. And at some point in the books there is basically a bunch of tests to supposedly get into a magical school, and we can frame the games in the kiosk as the student, or like the people who come and visit it doing those tests to get into the Stonekeeper Academy. So this is a sketch of what the kiosk could look like. So the house in the background, kind of trees along the side with the landscape, and we could put as many things in the sky as we wanted to. There's a lot of airships, spaceships, flying cities that we could work with, or if we really ran out of time, we could just do the house and kind of ignore as much or as little of that as we wanted. We could also kind of do pop-out elements like we did this year to give it a little bit of dimension. In terms of games, there is a game where people essentially do like a pattern matching and like path matching scene. If we could find a way to make that work, I think that would be very cool. So like you're trying to repeat a pattern, like a memory game. And then 2 ideas for throwing games. So either you have to knock over these evil shadow spirits by throwing things at them, or you have to try and get like balls into places. And we could do that with the ring spirit, which I would want to include. Sorry, not ring spirit, the amulet spirit, which I would want to include somewhere in the kiosk because it's a pretty iconic visual. In terms of video, so the plot for the main video would kind of follow the story of Naveen, if anyone remembers him from the book. So that's the little brother who ends up having to be kind of being taken into the resistance against the elves and becoming the commander. So he's a pilot. We would essentially do that story, except the main character is a mechanic, and instead of having to learn how to pilot the robots, has to learn how to build one to defeat the elves. Here's some miscellaneous pictures, because I think the comments are really cool. And just like a couple extra things. For the video, the way that the magic is kind of showed in the comics is just through these solid color swirls, like you see a little bit here. So that would be really, really easy to replicate in terms of visual effects. Like compared to a lot of like magic effects that we would animate. This is very simple because it's just solid shapes. So that makes it easy to add something to the video. Also, you can't see it in any of these, but the shape of the amulet has a bunch of lines in the top of it, which I think would be very easy to incorporate into the kind of cog effect of the Vanier logo. So it would be very easy to design a logo for the t-shirts that fits the amulet setting, but also is very reminiscent of the original logo. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say.
Yay!
Oh, the last thing for the tutorial, I think it'd be good to frame it as like a training video for the resistance. Like you're trying to train them on how to do something. Any other questions?
It's not really a question. It's just before you guys leave. Do you guys want to send me the PowerPoint so I can like make them available to people to like watch it when they vote? Thank you.
Bye, Marlon.
2 seconds.
Anybody have any questions? Yes.
Did you find a way to integrate like the toolboxes and like